You know, as a storyteller, I've been on this journey for 20, 25 plus years. And after going to NYU graduate film school and also studying film at undergrad, and now teaching film, teaching directing, teaching screenwriting, and even after making a feature film, directing a feature film, I'm just now feeling like I'm coming to a real knowing of how to be a storyteller, of how to make something. I'm just now understanding in a real, I'm just now knowing that I know how to make a story and how to make it effective. And the reason why is because through all my studies, through all my years of learning this craft, I never went back to the source. It was always learning from Spike Lee, or learning from Michael Mann, or learning from Martin Scorsese, or learning from Darren Aronofsky, or learning from just all these great directors, both past and present. But we never went back to the source. So all we was learning from is men and women copying a copy of a copy. And it's, I don't know, at one point it just finally dawned on me, why am I studying, even though I've learned a lot from these artists and these directors, and they're great at what they have done, but why am I studying from people who I studied from someone else? You even think about someone like Michael Jackson. Well, as great as Michael Jackson is and was, he studied from James Brown. So then the question goes, who did James Brown study from? So why are we going to the last great man, or great woman, or great person, and why aren't we going to the original? Because if you go back to the original, you learn everything that everyone else up to this point has, because you're starting at the purest point of something. You're starting at a place where everything that we have now comes from. And this is, I'm not gonna lie, this is the point where my understanding of storytelling has evolved in these past years, these past couple, maybe 3-4 years. I've learned more in this small amount of time than I've done over the first 25 or so years. And it's because I went back to first principles. I went back to the source. I went back to the element or the concept or the person that made me first have awe, made me first have wonder, made me first even want to take this route of making something, of taking the raw materials and seeing what I could build out of it. The things that inspire me, the things that make me want to tell a story, the things that make me attached to this character, the things that make me look at something with curiosity. Well, of all those things that have made me want to explore an idea has come from someone who was the original before everything else that came after. And that is what storytelling is to me. Storytelling and coming into the real knowledge of how to really make something. I'm very careful with saying create for a certain reason, so I try to avoid that. So if you hear me say make, some people might exchange that word with create. And we'll talk about why I use make and not create. But the thing why do I want to make something? And I want to make something because of the person that made me. The person that made me is the greatest storyteller of all time. So yeah, it's cool to study from Shakespeare and all these other talented writers, directors, artists from all type of mediums. Well, why didn't I never say, you know what, I want to study art from the original OG, the one who made everything that we're seeing out here so beautiful. Like, because I've yet to see someone make an animal and it can't even do it from an original standpoint. I've never seen colors more beautiful than on a butterfly. I've never seen colors more beautiful than a sky at dawn or at sunrise. That's the real artist. And that's what I want to learn from. That's who I want to learn from. How did you do that? How did you make these clouds out here? How did you do it? What was going through your mind at the time? And that's what storytelling is. And that now for me is what true artistry is. And that's what this channel is about. It's about thinking in images. You know, being quiet for a moment and think how the angels think. Because they think with images. They speak in images. Because a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I could say how I feel about this situation, but if I show you, you know. Where words might get confused and get muddled in falsity and deception, the image of a thing speaks truth. When this universe and this world was created, we know there's a love here because look at what was made. Look at what we see every day. These trees, these animals, even humanity and the people, especially us. That looks, the care and the interest and the details of how everything was made speaks to a certain love. And that's what I want to explore with you all. How to think in images and how to explore creativity from a first principle standpoint. Going back to the original of who created and made everything that we copy now. That's what we're going to do. Think in images.